I'm excited to present today's guest speaker. Naila Moloo is a 17-year-old innovator from Ottawa, Ontario. She's passionate about leveraging technology to address our global consumption of fossil fuels. She also loves reading, playing sports, and writing. Her debut novel was published when she was 14 and was a #1 bestseller in magical realism. Today, she will share about how she faces failure and the role it has played on her journey. Thanks for joining us today, Nyla. Can you start off by just telling us a bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Nyla. I'm 17 years old and I go to Elmwood School. I'm going to my final year, grade 12. So I am a climate tech researcher, or attempting to be so. I'm working on a few different projects. The first is a bioplastic from a species called duckweed. So I'm trying to work with a second generation aquatic feedstock, meaning a crop that humans don't consume and that doesn't take up land to grow. Unlike most of the crops that go into bioplastics, which are like corn and sugarcane, for example, things that take up land to grow and that we need to eat. It's part of our diet. So the other project I'm working on is a flexible solar panel. I'm working at the intersection of solar energy and nanotechnology, trying to create portable, lightweight, flexible solar panels that do not require plastic in their production.
Amazing. You're already such an accomplished person with so many great successes. Can you share about a time you have failed?
I fail a lot in the lab. One time that I failed, which was quite a long failure, was I was trying to basically extract the starch from the duckweed material. It's the first step that you need to take in creating the bioplastic, and I thought that it would be super easy, maybe take a week, 2 weeks tops. It ended up being kind of the hardest part of the entire process, and I've actually now been working on optimizing it for, that specific part, maybe a year and a half. And there were a lot of failures, probably maybe even more than that, maybe like 10 failures, where I tried to do this and I was trying different processes and we got literally no starch extracted. And then it was only after about 10 months that we saw finally, starch in a test that we ran. And so it really goes to show that these kinds of things do not happen very quickly, especially in science. And I really thought that it would go a lot faster, but this is just a part of science, and it's a natural step in the pursuit of innovation.
Thanks for sharing that. It's great hearing about your resilience in the face of failure. Why do you think failure is important to face in life?
I do think failure is very important to face in life, especially from a young age, because in school you're kind of taught that failure is bad. It has very negative connotations. In school, if you fail, that is definitely not a good thing. It's not viewed as a good thing. But failure in the real world is very natural and kind of something that you have to learn to embrace. It's never going to be fun, really, but especially when you're trying to create some kind of innovation, do something that hasn't been done before. If it was easy, then it would have already been done. And failure is something that is just absolutely going to happen. So it's very important to kind of understand this and build up the resilience to be able to look failure in the face and be able to kind of step past that and continue making progress, even if it takes a long time, even if it takes a lot of failure, because you love what you're doing.
Finally, I would love to know if you have any words of advice for other young changemakers.
I would say to kind of just start looking for something that you're interested in and talking to people in the space. It can seem a little daunting when you're on your own, reading papers even, and understanding things can be difficult on your own, but there are a lot of people who are willing to help you. So I would say to go on LinkedIn and start reaching out to people in this field, in this industry, and asking them for help, asking them for advice, because networking has been really big for me in terms of going from an idea to actually, being in labs and getting expert advice on my projects. So it's not just something that I think is going to work, it's something that, people are giving their input into to make it work to the best it can. So I think networking and just really getting out there, getting on LinkedIn is really great, and something that anybody can do.
Thanks, Nyla. You're such an inspiring person, and it's encouraging to see that even you are uncomfortable with failure, but still face it head on your journey to success. You can support Nyla's work by checking out her book series, The Chronicles of Illusions, or her Curiosity podcast.